Good evening, everyone. Welcome everyone.
In the still silence it's becoming clear, 'cause I wanna float in the moonlight till my
I grabbed my tea and I hope everyone can hear me. Hey Anja, welcome on YouTube. As always, your present, so nice to see you. Hello Yvonne, also present almost every time. Thank you so much for joining again. Welcome. Hello Alice, welcome. So wonderful to see you all again. Yeah, that was the first song. Yeah, the intro song. It has become my intro song because I love that song. Welcome everyone. I am as well live on also YouTube, my second channel, which is only English. Welcome everyone there as well. And on TVOP, TVOP of everyone also welcome, and on my Facebook pages. And did I forget something? Yeah, Trovo, of course, as well. Welcome, everyone. And I hope you can hear me, because the mic shows here that it's running. So it is here for everyone abroad in the Netherlands. For the majority, I believe, of the Netherlands now, holidays for the children, school holidays. And many people are on holiday, so... But I decided just to go on with my live streams because I love going live. Yes, you can hear me, Yvonne. Thanks for the feedback. I check. Yeah, put the volume on max. So, what am I going to talk about for tonight? Well, as you might all see, is that I also lately also use a warning for graphic details. The live streams will not be very different than other times, but it is just important for the rules. The rules have become more strict on Twitch as well, and I feel more safer than to at least when I express some more graphic details, which might happen tonight. I don't know. It depends, because I don't want to do too many graphic details, but that's why on Twitch, for example, you see first that warning, and that is, I feel then far safer to speak out when there's graphic details. And for tonight, well, here in the Netherlands it's early evening, and for everywhere else might be even early morning or in the afternoon. Well, also welcome, of course, everyone from where you are watching this. And I am Monique Wallace, and I am former MKUltra survivor. And with the name Monique, well, many of who already see my and follow my live streams know that I am in incredible inner change. Inner change, that's the better word for it. And I will start with that in the live stream. Because last couple of live streams I have now that a certain, it's not a certain. I hope I will get my thread right, because what I notice is with this integration of what has of recent, her name is Katie, and Katie came forward. Oh, I see now that banner I will put off. Okay, I will first put it off. Where is it? No. Oh gosh, it's in the way. Let me see where it is. Here. So that's disturbing all the time to see that come by. So last couple of live streams I notice myself that I have a hard time in expressing. So the expressing of when I do the Dutch live streams, then I have hard time speaking some English words, and the other way around is when I do English live streams, I am burdened by not recalling any, sometimes even facts for me, which I know, terms, and that I cannot produce them only in English. So it is I'm in a very intense change inly. But it is not that, I did choose to go live because I feel it's healing. So hello, Soul Mirror. Hey, Erik, welcome. Welcome on this Tuesday evening here in the Netherlands. Welcome. Always nice to see you. So for tonight, I decided to start with this incredible journey in this whole integration road to freedom, to my inner freedom. And as many of you know by now, I do that as well because I have a mission of this is for me really a godly mission to be free, but not only me, that rhymes, but also for the world and all beings, and that's always the same. That is both on number one already. Well, when I was 6 years old. Hey Barry, welcome as well. Yeah, Stream Elements doesn't show the link. I have to change that. It's Stream Elements has a bit of a bug. So, and so I was thinking, because I am so in this incredible integration of which I will talk about, I will try to talk about this red code and what brought me here. So with Katie, and Katie is a girl, is a teenage girl who came forward. That was only, it's now Tuesday. That's only a week ago, less than a week ago. And that when she came forward, I did not realize how different my integration at the moment now is. And I will that also explain that more extendedly. And I apologize for if my words don't come as fluent as many live streams, which I can speak out fluently. But it is because of this whole, a roller coaster of meeting this Katie personality. Well, this Katie personality came forward when I had but for me it was a kind of rebirth. And this being reborn had consequences, because this girl who came forward, she was totally dressed in red. Let me start with that, how it started. So I felt a girl and was dressed in red, and I was sitting behind here, which is my studio corner, and that is my spot where I do prepare for my live streams and so on, and I watch some videos. Well, of course I have my piano here, my piano, which for certain, with the inner blocks I come across, I did not play a lot lately, and so my whole channel, who is called a bit of piano, well, I should rather mention no piano playing at the moment, but that will come. That will come. I'm sure it will come, but I will stay with that inner girl in me, which was my inner teenage girl, and she was dressed in red, and I was just sitting here behind my screen and my monitors, and suddenly and was meditating, and suddenly I felt her, and how that feels is I try also for tonight to explain what it is to be split up, and of course you already the majority of you who follow me even from the beginning, of which I'm again so grateful for, and that I every time again choose to go live, even when I feel at the moment again vulnerable because of this whole roller coaster in me, and I use the word roller coaster a lot, but it truly feels like that. But for tonight I will also explain more about how intense it is to deal with all these personalities. But now this Katie has come forward, and she's really different for me. So to come back to that moment, I was suddenly feeling like it is literally like I know I am in the for now still in life Monique or Mo, but I'm myself. By the way, I'm already calling myself Ray, so RAE. And I like that name, so that you can get a bit adjusted to that there will come a moment, and maybe very soon, that I will change all my names on my social media. And that moment will come very soon, I think. But so I am then sitting as this Monique. In my body, I feel like, well, I think everybody feels, well, you have a certain age and you have your certain life experience, and you're just preparing, like I did, for a kind of promo video for the next live stream, for example. And then suddenly, that is then all, when I start to meditate, it is then that I suddenly felt like that girl. And I then feel that girl. But it is not that I then fully become that girl, because otherwise I would get lost, of course, then I would not know what I'm doing. And that's very hard to explain. So I'm sitting here as a grown-up, doing my things behind the PC, but at the same time, I see with my inner eye and with my feeling that I am, that girl also in red, and then the name Katie. Well, I thought, okay, a new personality. Well, as many of you know, I am transforming and integrating personalities already for so many years. So I am pretty experienced in integrating personalities. And I mention a lot of times also in the live streams that I have to deal at times with, well, a couple of them in a day. It could happen that I even had discovered a whole grid with more than 200 or 300 personalities. I did come across that, and then the majority of times that was then very easily done to in a day or in a few days to in any way to make them aware of who I was and the here and now, because that's how I work. I do ego work, inner process, and always to guide everything and everyone who is in me responding and resonate in me. Because otherwise, you can imagine, if I would allow myself to even remember or recall a personality, and then suddenly every day I just let these personalities a bit wander in myself, and it's literally like being in a town, and of which you see all the people, and then you know by now a lot of people, because they met me, and then they just walked around in that city. Well, if that city has no order or a certain I have to guide these inner personalities, of course. Well, this time, hallo gezamenlijke opstand, welkom. Yeah, blue, white, red, yeah. Great, thank you so much for being here. So, to come back um, to this integration. So what I wanted to say is I'm pretty experienced in dealing with all these personalities. Well, this Katie, when she came forward, again, the first thing what then happened was that I suddenly became, that in Katie I saw then a baby. And that sounds, it's literally like these babushka puppets, these Russian doll puppets, like a doll inside a doll inside a doll inside a doll. And I was sitting in that girl, and Katie was always wearing red. What I later on heard also from herself in a conversation. And then I saw that baby. At the same time, I saw flashes of. I hope I can get the timeline well, because there was also the presence of an angel, and this angel was special because this angel was carrying a scroll, like these ancient scrolls you see in movies with the papyrus, with that old-fashioned way they made these scrolls. And a phase later, she opened even these scrolls, and she showed, and what specifically came forward was Ray Elizabeth. So these two names, of which I already talk in the live streams, that I have recalled, that I've seen my original birth certificate in my original birth family, which I'm very open about it. That is coming from Great Britain, somewhere in a certain family. I will not go too much into that, but I'm laughing, but many of you who already know me know which family I mean. So then this baby, I suddenly felt like that angel wanted to guide me through who I original am, because I have my longing to be whole as person. But then I have to be whole within, of course, totally with my inner source, who I am. If my inner light is not whole, how can I then be a full personality and radiate who I am? And I talk about that already so many times, that wish, that is why I keep on going with transforming, inner transformation, to find myself, my true self. And well, with Katie, I got the message that she's not a personality, but that she is my inner source, the inner person, or the inner child. It is how you want to describe it. When that baby came forward, and also the angel showed me how it felt like to be in the womb of my own mother, of which I was born out of. And that I could feel her hands, and this mother felt a bit young, so she felt herself more a teenager than a young mother. And that is as well has had such an imprint in me, because I recognized that mother and that birth mother. I cannot release the identity, because then, first of all, I'm not waiting for it to be called crazy or something. So, and I don't have, of course, the physical proof. What a lot of times I also say openly, like, I have no physical proof, only myself, and in the hope that people will feel how true I experienced it, and that it is not a fantasy, but that I truly experienced this. And it was very special to feel the mother with her arms, because she was actually showing me, like, I love you. So she was feeding me with her love. And I could hear her almost say, like, I know I will lose you, because she was what maybe is a term as well known in abroad, like a carry mother. I hope that is the right word for it. And this carrying mother, I already knew about that, the deep state, of which I was part of, and with the bloodlines. Let me explain that a bit. That they all could also keep everything secret with their bloodlines, because they have from generation to generations and in between their families. And that could even be families who come from other countries. Like, for example, even Asia or the Middle East. These families know to follow where the original DNA and the genes run in their families. And they also keep track on which families, or in their eyes, the bloodlines, which are pure in their, that's how they call it, a pure bloodline, or that they can, that they choose children from certain families, which is in their lineage, in their family lineage, and they let them then, there's a lot of incest going on in these families, and well, it's also come out, also if you study history of these even monarchies and so-called important people, that they a lot of times have, how do they call that, inbreeds, or that they have children from another woman or another father. That is so, yeah, that is, but it runs a lot in these families. But a lot of them, they keep following the bloodlines, which in their opinion are the main track to get ahead with, that these bloodlines, when they marry each other, that they keep on feeding the original where they come from, but as well that these bloodlines also have to be capable of letting enter other creatures. And I mean with other creatures, demons, but also, for example, blueprints of reptilians. And then it also depends on which bloodline, what type of reptilians, and even some bloodline has a heritage with a bit more the dragon-like history. And I know it sounds bizarre and it sounds science fiction, but that is a bit the very, very, very short story of that a lot of these bloodlines publicly live lives often influenced by or reptilians or by demons, but for sure they serve Lucifer, Satan, or that or the leader of the reptilians, and he, for sure the demon world, or very evil types of aliens. And that sounds maybe bizarre, but it is what I have seen across, because I was in these families and I was born also in of two bloodlines. That's what they said. I don't say I say that it is, but I feel that it is. But yeah, I have no real proof, so it is for me a fact because I feel it, and I recognize a lot, by the way, in where I originally come from. So I recognize some features, some not all the character things of these people, luckily, because as you know, I wanted to fight out of that programmed life already for so long. And I sometimes get also, if I get tired, then it's the long road to freedom. And I see surrogate mother. Yeah, thanks, Barry. That's great to see now the right word for it. Carrying mother it sounds a bit weird as well. So with these bloodlines, and that many of these bloodlines, they marry each other, although for the outside world they're unrelated. But these hidden bloodlines can even run in. It's just an example. Suppose there is a king somewhere in the world, and he's publicly very active, and he marries with a chosen woman. But then the sister, for example, of this king is just an example. It's I do that on purpose, as you may understand, and that this king has a sister, and the sister carries the real bloodline. So then is the king the distraction to go public. But then next to it is the sister who has, for example, the real lineage of of which also my programmers wanted to keep track, and everything is being monitored in these bloodlines, and this is why it's being capable of being kept secret for so long. And if you're once in a family like that, then it sounds, for example, if you see someone marry someone totally of which you think like, how is it possible that they marry, for example, from royalty and that they marry a common girl? That happened in history. That does sound maybe like, oh, fairy tale. Oh, the prince meets the love of his life, and she is just a common girl. And I say common girl, not that I say that, but it is to give an example. And then it shows to the world like, oh wow, we were going celebrating for this marriage and a big wedding, and then it is actually everything is being orchestrated in throughout the world, and this is why the world is actually far more smaller than you have that song in Disney, like it's a small world after all. Well, it's a small world after all. By the way, that melody was also used in many MKUltras and also in my programming, and that was then the USA part of it. Hello, Clowns Planet, welcome. So that is, then you have a bit an oversight of what I know and what I've witnessed and why it is so kept hidden and can be kept hidden. Many of them work together and are even being planned to be born abroad, so that countries then create also a certain bond with marriages and so on and so on. And then in between there is still a lot of incest going on in these families. And I'm not talking only about monarchies, also presidential, important presidential, who carry a certain bloodline. So that is the side explanation. Why do I mention that? Because with coming forward of Katie, that I realized that for me, it's an incredible confirmation that I come from one of these bloodlines, and I cannot mention too much what, but it is related to Great Britain, and I was already open about that, and for me it's fine, and to come back to these hands of the mother. Why was that so moving for me? Because I only had a memory of the original mom of evilness, and in this thing, what happened last week with this girl in red, the lady in red. I almost wanted to put it in the title again, Lady in Red, but it started with a teenager, a girl in red, so it is better, so I did not add that in the title. And that this mom sent love, but I also felt that she was forced to take distance from me, so she was then that surrogate mom, but very related inside the setting. I have to be careful a bit with expressing, but a lot of for me, a lot of things like jigsaw pieces of the puzzle. Jigsaw pieces came together. Like many of the puzzle starts to become more and more complete for me, because I also saw this, which I always knew was my original mom. Then I have to make it more complex. So the biological mom with the genes, genetic mom. How do you say that? So the surrogate mother I was born out of, and the real mom, who's let's say the eggs were implanted in that surrogate mom. She was also present, and I could see her being only evil, and such evil. Biological mom. Thanks so much, Barry. Hello, Lily. Welcome. So, and I saw next to this, what I call Queen E, this mom, this biological mom, and that next to her I saw that being in full, of which she was always being influenced, and that is then, it is a kind of reptilian shape. So It does exist. Maybe some of you don't believe it, and that's fine too. But I know they exist. Reptilians were for a long time already, are a long time already here on Earth, and it is a battle for. Yeah, they also want Earth. That is also, in short, being said. And and why is that? But that's another story. But it is also to withhold humanity from staying human. So they want to change human, and they want to chase off on Earth. They will also want to chase off humans, and this is why they want to alter the humanity. But that is very short set, a very short summary. Hey Jos, welcome. But then it got further, so I got to feel myself being reborn, and that was such confusing happening, but also very, I was in a full meditative state when that happened, and I was sitting in to compare with a golden yellow, but also a lot of red, orange colored globe. It was like or a dome. I was fully in a giant bubble of light and golden yellow and reddish light, and I felt in a total meditative state. And then that angel opened the scroll, and then I saw Elizabeth, and the funny thing was, a few days later, I saw that the angel came back, and she showed me, like, because I was very much. I was now, since that happened, I was even more driven to find out who I am and with which names I want to be called at in life. And because I always felt, Monique, is it really the name fitting for me? And short Mo is also nice, you know. It's not that I hate the name Monique, but it's not. I feel not complete, and I will explain more about the whole road I did with why I feel so that this name doesn't fit. But I really want to stay with this teenager in red, because there was a big extension to that story later on after Saturday, and that is so graphic detail will I will be graphic maybe a bit. Thank you so much, Jos. That is great news. I do feel that, although again today I was right before the live stream, I was a bit insecure because of last live streams. I couldn't get the right expressions. It was so frustrating to not speak my English. I know I have pretty well vocabulary in English, and I couldn't express myself last week, and then in Dutch the other way round. But it is so nice to see that confirmed, Jos. Thank you so much. So that to come back with that angel with a scroll, that angel then put that scroll down, and then literally she pointed at, it's not Elizabeth with a Z, because I was very busy with Ray Elizabeth Wallace. It sounds great, Ray Elizabeth Wallace, Ray Wallace, you know. It sounds great, so I was a bit playing with that and feeling how it would feel for me. And that is that search, of course, for who I am. And I know finding for my fitting names I want to call, I want to be called, is of course my own search within. Who am I? Who am I really? So, and then it was funny that angel showed actually she had pretty humor, and that she showed with a scroll opened that the Z had a cross over it, and it was an S. And then I felt like, wow, Ray Elizabeth. Well, it sounds the same, but it's one letter difference. And then I am now still discovering and uncovering, like, well, what will that do? Because I know numerology, of course, and numerology is not for me the most important thing. It's what I feel. And that is the most important thing, I'm feeling. And this is also why I do these live streams. That for me it's so important that I hope that more and more people start to open up again from feeling within. How does that person feel, or what do I feel? Instead of that, we're all being, of course, very busy with living our lives and family and what is happening now in the world. My heart goes out to what's going on now over the whole world, of course, with a lot of disasters and economical disasters, everything. So my heart goes out to everyone. Hello, Nobby Noble, welcome. I hope everything will go well now tonight with the night bot. But yeah, I checked it, I cannot change that with it is the way it is, and it's a bit of protection for my live streaming on YouTube as well. So let's find out if it runs now for tonight. Well, that being reborn, the day afterwards, I felt totally different, and this is what I until now come across, that the change I feel from within is not always easy, because I was, and that is the life here, of which I will go more extendedly talking about how this whole journey of integrating went. For example, what is the difference with now this reborn, and that I had this my original baby, which was I talked earlier live streams about the carousel programming, of which my core baby splits were put in, and a fifth one was the fake one. And with all these 4 baby splits together, of course, if that is being retrieved, then the next step would have been that I would have my whole inner child. That's another word for it. I call it my inner baby, but it is of course me, who I am as light. I forgot to mention that when that happened last week, I forgot to mention that when I saw my inner child, as baby, ended up being reborn, that I saw the light of that rebirth go through my sun above my head and totally through my whole being, totally go down, as if I swallowed it, that energy of who I am, that essence of who I am. So that I forgot to add that to that. Then to come back to this integration of all these personalities all these years, that was a whole journey on its own to deal with the changes of a personality, and I did not highlight that yet in a live stream, not so extended. Like I did talk about, well, some personalities were harder to integrate than others. Other personality, as I said earlier, like I had at times that I had that was not so even, that was pretty common, that I had a couple of them at the same time in a day that I had to integrate, but others I felt a bit estranged. But another thing, what is the consequence of dealing with personalities? These personalities were always totally put in a kind of isolated spot of me, as ego, as Monique, who guided this journey to be whole again. Hello, Freebird, welcome. Lovely to see you all in the Netherlands. It is the holidays, so I'm so grateful that you all come by. And also on my second YouTube, I promised to check on also my second YouTube, but I think I should have it visible as well. And for everyone, by the way, on my personal Facebook page, if you like more chats, and that counts also for my English page and for my Dutch page, if you like to be part of chats and so on, then I think, TFOP, that should be visible as well here, but I'm not sure. But yeah, then if you really want to chat, then go to YouTube or Twitch or Trovo. I'm also live on Trovo. I forgot to greet the people on Trovo, I believe. And that's the other side of having having so many channels at the same time running. But I like it. I like it very much. But to come back to these personalities, if, for example, I had already integrated a majority of personalities, let's say in 2008, and I say specifically this year because I will show you then also some pictures of me, which I promised, of Italy. But that's a great example of how integration works. From 2000, I was having that burnout and then started to discover, wow, wait, wow, that's great, Barry. Wow, I have completed the followers goal. 174 followers there. Oh, wow, on Trovo. Thank you so much for the follow. And I love, it's a great channel, I believe. So welcome. Yeah, let's celebrate. Let's party. Thank you so much, Jos. Always, yeah, you're a kind of acknowledgement, a mirror for where I am. That's so nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, I wish I had now confetti, or how you say that, all these colorful papers. And also thanks to you, Barry, with your interaction there on Trovo. I need to say that as well. Also on Trovo, dear people, Barry Henderson is also on Trovo, as well as Eric, the Soul Mirror. But I forgot, Eric, are you there with as Eric Vink or with the Soul Mirror? I think also the Soul Mirror, huh? But yeah, it is yeah, celebration. Well, I will choose myself and for in the break a nice celebration song. So yeah, it's great news. Wow, 174 followers, man. Well, I'm also on Twitch heading for 330 followers, so and that's a great moment to as well ask everyone. I do that every live stream. I hope only one time because that's what I choose to do only one time, to ask for please subscribe, follow, share, like on YouTube, and push the react button on Twitch. But like and comment, and specifically like, is really giving me more, yeah, that I'm more reachable and more being viewed on YouTube. So, and it's a big community on YouTube, and MKUltra should be a quite interesting subject for many people, but I noticed that it's not really, well, it's I don't know, but yeah, some say I'm being shadow banned, but yeah, yeah, I think so too, by the way, but oh boy. Jos, then you have really been very deep with meditation. Yeah, it was like coming home. I wish I could explain how it is in a meditative state and I'm feeling the full. And if I talk about it, I can feel it again also. So it's also really nice to, in English as well, explain what happened. But to come back to these personality changes, when personality, for example, came forward, let's say, and I was talking about from 2000, I had that burnout, and then I started to relive and in horrific flashbacks of my sexual abuse life with the parents and with the Dutch front life, and even in Belgium and Germany, and also with group rapes, group rapings, and so on. And well, when a personality came forward, then, for example, habits could change from one day to the other. I already talk openly about how I have a past with hideous eating disorders, and in the pictures I will show you later on of 2008 in Italy, when I already hit upon the lady in red, what I now, of course, can now combine. And I promised in last live stream that I would look them up, these pictures, and I will show them in a bit. Maybe right before the break or after the break, but I will first talk about the difference of what now happened and with these personality changes. That also habits next to eating disorder, also habits could change. Like for example, I was with my dear friend here again in 2008 in Italy on a holiday, and there I went through a lot of personality switches. Although you did not see it from outside, from my appearance, I was just that woman who walked there and. Well, I will show you a video as well, but I should do that later on. I'm now again want to throw in everything. Oh boy. I hope my new me can get more the right order and the main thread. And I'm for sure happy that I can talk a bit fluent again, also in English, because I was really, really, really worried about going live tonight, and that I thought like, what if I stumble again and even got facts wrong? I was totally confused about Mars and Saturn and oh my gosh, but yeah, now I'm doing better. Luckily I'm doing better. That habits change. For example, in that holiday in Italy, for example, yeah, you of course have to buy some groceries, and we had both our own little tent. That also has a reason, because I never could sleep with others in one room. Well, that's also the reaction, and I think the how you say that, there I go again, now I lose the word again. But yeah, I just wanted to sleep alone, and my dear friend also. And we're both totally different personalities as well. So we're living together, but we're totally different. And that's also great because we have both our own lives. Well, for as far as I have a life, I have a life in a live stream, and I have here the life in the house and walking a lot with my dear friend. But further on, nothing really has changed yet, so in my life, but that will all come when I'm now whole. I hope it will now go even more in a flow. And then we went for groceries, and then I was suddenly into white bread with cheese, and that I only wanted to eat white bread with cheese. Well, then another personality came forward, and then she was saying like, oh, I hate cheese, I hate bread. And then there were, for example, the memories of that after when I was sexually abused, that then I was put in the light and bright room, and there I got a warm milk with honey and some herbs in it. And that was to calm me down, but as well with the milk. And here is a bit of a graphic detail warning, not too heavy, I believe. But that, for example, my milk bottle as a small child, I still received milk bottles until it was pretty old. And that was also to confuse me. But if I then had that milk bottle, for example, in my mouth, then immediately it was taken away with only a few zips. Or even that I only could see it and I could not drink it. Well, the programmers had all kinds of sarcastic ways of confusing me with, well, when you drink from your mom, then you drink from the nipple with the mother milk and so on. But they also changed the types of bottles. They changed what I had to swallow. And I will not be too detailed and graphic, but I had all kinds of things have had to been forced to put in my mouth, which you can imagine with me having a past with sexual abuse. And I did never share that, but there is again a graphic detail that I also had to. I got also in my mouth like the of the things of animals. There you know what I mean. I cannot even mention the name, but of animals. And I lived in my Dutch front life with the hidden sexual abuse with the front in the Dutch life, also near farms, etc. And I loved always being at farms. So I'm so lucky that has not been disturbed or being destroyed, because I love countryside and the cows, everything what is with farm. I love it, and my deepest wish is one day to live again in the countryside, because I love it. But yeah, those hard things what I came across in big farm sheds, also in the Netherlands, but also in the USA and also in Great Britain, what I had to witness there, because the advantage of a farmer farms were, and specifically farm sheds, were that there was a lot of hay, and hay can be used for to put up some settings, and it had a certain smell, and I will never forget that there were a lot of things done with the things you use with the what is it called when you put out the hay. I always know that. That's an example of I hit upon what has happened to me, and then I cannot find the English word. So again, I'm so sorry, but they call it in Dutch riek. A riek, which you put into the hay to assemble the hay, and then to get rid of it or to assemble it to a haystack, etc. Hi, Tineke Jessie. Welcome as well. And Delvertje. Hey, Delvertje. Also, welcome everyone. How nice of you to join. This is the English live stream, and it is so great also to see my friends from the Netherlands. Yeah. And now I get only a notification that I'm live on my other YouTube. That's weird, huh? Because and that's every time. I see it now. It's 1 hour later, and now I only get that notification. So I don't know what it is, but I hope it does run. Yes, I see live that I'm live there. Okay. Yeah. Oh wait. Hey, that's interesting. I am on Twitch, but oh yeah, now it's running. Okay. So, thank you so much, Delvertje. That's what I mean. I know that. Pitchfork. Well, when I will be more whole, when this dear Katie and me, because I have a story to tell about her integration as well. There happened, of course, the programmers took care of that was also being polluted, this memory of receiving love from that surrogate mom, and I will talk about that in a bit. But for now, with a pitchfork, exactly. So I saw horrific things being done with a pitchfork to others, and that was all to create to create even more fear in me. And of course, it was a perfect wall to take care of that I would never ever cry out for help. And that's a very beloved subject of programming, and specifically mind control and MKUltra and monarch programming. It's all about, if you ever tell, then we will do this and this to others, or even to your family, or later on to my children. And it was always my fault, whatever happened, even if I did what I felt like was the good choice, I was always to blame. And that is totally confusing, and specifically when I was growing up, and specifically when you hear that all the time in the front life, because the family was in it, and as well, and it's the USA life, and in specifically also Great Britain when I was there with that family and with I can say now, how does that call? Is a surrogate mom also a mom? I think you can also call it a mom, because you're of course biologically born from that mother, but then the genes, the eggs were coming from her mother. How confusing can it be, huh? How confusing can it be? And it is the perfect way to confuse mind as well, specifically with the purpose of creating a full mind control like I was, and a full, and also the monarch programming and so on. So Yes, you can go with meditation until just after the formation of your DNA strand, so you can't take the and the egg separately through. And I have to reread that later on, yes, to really, I really want to let it in, so I will read it. Most of the time, I do rewatch some parts of a live stream, not always, but majority of times I want to. So also to learn from that, of course. And well, to come back to these habits, so that bread and cheese, and then in a session with this dear friend here, and then, for example, in Italy, there we were sitting there somewhere on the mountains, and then an example is that in a personality I was younger, and I met in that Italy journey of 2008 a lot of very, very little ones, and they were scared to even walk down a mountain. And I will show you the Italian mountain. It is a famous walking track. It was to go. We chose a very pretty, actually the easiest one, but you have to climb a lot to the top of the mountain. But it's the easiest one. I will show you. Many of you might recognize it. But then, for example, I was then walking up the mountain, and it was hellish for me. And that personality then walked also like a bit drunk, like, and that I did not want to walk. Like, I did not want to walk. I did not want to make any step further. It was really a challenge to do that, and it was a so-called holiday. But I never really had a holiday in the whole deprogramming, because it was only survival. And for example, in mountain, like in Italy, I was confronted with the total fears for also these mountains, of which you have, for example, these small rocky tracks, and these are the very tiny rocks, a grit, I think they call them, and these very tiny little stones. And then if you can slide from it, and if you go down the mountain and you slide, nothing happens because you just slide. I was scared literally as hell of going down that mountain, and that was only two examples. Another example was that I was sleeping in that tent, and we had both our own tents. But in Italy, you can when you are sleeping in the mountains, then it can be very cold, especially in the night. And in the lower parts, there was nice warm. And I felt it when I was there in these lower parts. And we were one night in our little tents, in our trekking tents. We were sleeping there in the warm. I love warmth, by the way. I'm not someone who likes to live in a cold country, and I love snow and so on. But I have to be warm. I am like that. Slippery riches. Thanks so much, Soul Mirror. And I think there is also a name for it, kleine kiezelsteentjes. Then gravel, I think it's called gravel. That you can just, and it's a nice feeling, because I know that too. And I had a great, great walking shoes, so everything we had prepared. But yeah, I was sleeping there in that little tent to come back in what was palm trees were there. It was really, it was so nice. And I didn't want to sleep in the mountains, because that was all the resistance to climb. But I always, when I did the deprogramming, and that was before 2010, but I mean with that deprogramming of healing from all the sexual abuse and of the horrific traumas and flashbacks I had, also before 2010, and then specifically with the granddad in Netherlands, and with the Dutch mom and Dutch dad, and they all sexual abused me, and it was a whole family sexual abuse thing. Sadly enough, so I had to recover from that, but that created also personality. So I was already aware specifically past 2005, I believe, then I really started to become aware, I have more personalities. But I did not know I had in the tens, in the hundreds of thousands of personalities. So to explain that period, why I speak of deprogramming, because I think I was already starting to deprogramming. So there I was with the two little tents, and then my dear friend said, well, we have to go to the top of the mountain. We promised each other we would do that, and I was so fearful of even starting to climb, and it was the easiest path. It was not a harsh climb. So then, I decided, despite all the fears, all the time, every time when I went through it, and when I said yes, fully, to go for the next step in healing, I did the challenge. I took the challenge, so I did. But it was, I can laugh at it now, because then we decided, okay, we go walk. So we walked for a day, and then we were just sleeping in a very these nature spots where you can just put your tent down with a farmer there in Italy in the mountains. And then I put on my tent, and then I got very scared of the night to become cold. And then I still have goosebumps from it, because then this dear friend decided, like, no problem, she said, because there were a lot of people with campers and other tents, and she said, I will arrange it. You will not have any cold night. So she decided to go through every camper, every tent, every people who were there, and she asked for blankets and mattresses, these little, you can blow up, these inflatable beds, these tiny mats. Well, she came back with literally blankets, sleeping bags, these inflatables, these mattresses. And I still smile, because I could, of course, never say I don't want to sleep there, because she took care of, you will never have any cold. I will take care of it. So there I was sleeping in the tent, and I will show you that little tent in a bit. But I slept with literally a layer of mattresses and blankets, and on top of me were also blankets, and she made a fun game of it, like, okay, to take care actually for my inner little ones, who were scared as hell to climb and to sleep in a cold mountain. Of course, all these fears of what I did not know of, even the MKUltra tiny little personalities. And then she made a fun game of it, and and then she put a blanket on top of me, and on top of me, and on top of me, and that it was a weight. By the way, I love sleeping with some weight on me, so that is, that's contradictive, but a bit heavy. That keeps me, that helps me sleep better. I don't know why, but I have many people have that they want to feel some weight. And she made a game of it, and then I felt with my inner child, who was already in a healing process and more integrated, all these little personalities younger than 10 years old, they were feeling safe with this dear friend already. So they won. So I felt like, oh, now I can go asleep. So then that little tent, and I almost bumped into the ceiling of the tent. But what happened? I still was cold, and I still was, parts of me were complaining about, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was not lying comfortably. So my night was again very hellish, and despite all these blankets and all these covers and where I was lying on, and that is an example of that. And I triggered with that this dear friend here said hello to, I will make sure you will be warm. So that was real love. You know what I start to try to explain? That is real unconditional love. And even despite all these little personalities who were wanting to complain, they were from deep within really enjoying that love. And that is the example of how I could heal. And this dear friend did these kinds of things not one time, no, many, 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 many times until this very day. Well, she in a way, she does take care of me, but of course, I've been now integrated, and so it did change. But yeah, at these beginning years were so special, and this is an example of how special that was, but also suffering. And later on, I discovered that I triggered the programming of the princess on the P. Princess op de echt. Who had to lie on so many mattresses, and then she even could feel the tiny, tiny, tiny little pea. Well, until this very day, I am still very sensitive to mattresses and to lying comfortable on a bed. Well, I'm bothered by sounds and so on. For example, not so long ago, there was some, changes here in the environment somewhere. With that they want to do the plumbing works different, and then there was a pump nearby, and I cannot sleep, and I still have these low frequencies every night which bother me. So I am incredible sensitive, but that is one example. And why do I talk about this certain journey? Because I have pictures, because that's another part of the story of the red coding that I believe, hit upon this an outer layer of this this girl in red, or the lady in red. And of course, the lady in red says it all. That song, Lady in Red, I started to hear innerly again when that teenage girl came forward. But the teenage girl, by the way, to have a small summary, Katie, her name was Katie, but she had my original inner child, my inner core. She carried that, and that experience with this Queen E being present when, and then with the surrogate mother, which was her daughter, is her daughter. Do you say is or was? No, the Queen E is not alive any longer. The daughter is. And for me, since that time, a lot of things came together inside of me, like a lot of jigsaw pieces of the puzzle have become completed, and I do feel that. So, is it now time? Are you ready to see some pictures? Because there is another story to it. The red coding, of course, I'm talking about. On that Italy journey, this is also why I chose to talk about and combining it with how it is to integrate personalities. But that in that same journey, in the beginning, I was still wearing a lot of dark blue. And I was, by the way, not feeling comfortable in my body because I was dealing with so many little personalities. And I mentioned already in a lot of live streams that I was a lot of bullied on school and on my preschool and my nursery school in the Netherlands because I walked funny because of all the sexual abuse. And this is why I had that was on the root, amongst other reasons, of course, why I was so scared to walk. Because what does walking do? Walking is moving with the body. When you walk, you have to use your legs and your feet. So that alone was recalling the abuse. So heavily sexually abused I was. And that was in that Italy journey, not really clear yet, but already what was clear was the sexual abuse, and that I had these memories of that I was even called penguin when I was bullied, and I was wearing thick glasses as well, and I was also bullied with that, like champotglazen and so on. Well, I also remember a name, Billy Turf. I forgot who that was, but that is also an example. Well, in the beginning of that Italy journey, and it was in 2008, July or August, it was in the summer. And initially I was wearing their dark blue, and dark blue was a typical color I felt safe in because I was not feeling happy in my body, as I already said, and I was bloated because I had these hidden eating disorders already becoming more active, and also that with more layers coming to the surface, although not visible yet to me in 2008, that I was very uncomfortable with that feeling bloated. So, and well, in the pictures I do see that, but I thought, well, why not share that, because that's healing as well, and I believe again an integration impulse. And well, that was the me in the past with dealing with all that abuse and all that hidden for me still MKUltra still. So I'm pretty proud that I walked up that mountain and climbed up that mountain. And it was not the only mountain. I also climbed in Norway to a glacier. And walking to a glacier, and the same happened there, that I was confronted with coldness, of course, because Norway, well, cold in the mountains, and really climbing. And I had to climb there, for example, through ropes towards the glacier. But to be near a glacier, that feeling I will never forget. So that is again an example of how this dear friend here really made me do these things. And I decided myself, I was never forced. I voluntarily said, yes, I will go with you up that mountain. But climbing and walking was for me such an important and great motivator, literally physical motivator as well, an inspirator, inspiring, inspiring method that is unbelievable. Tineke Jessie, big jam glasses are modern again. Yeah, is that so? Oh yeah, well, I will avoid wearing glasses ever again. I'm hurt too much, but it's nice to see that they're fashion again, that they're fashionable, that they're hot. But with me, well, that's destroyed. That's really destroyed. To come back. So in the beginning I was wearing dark blue and some shirts, and well, it is all, it's on a holiday, on a walking holiday, climbing holiday, so it's all sports-like clothing, so nothing fancy. What I did want to have always in were my earrings, and I had, when I rewatched these pictures, then I realized, oh yeah, always had to wear my earrings, so it is a funny sight. But to come back to the dark blue was apparently actually the color of keeping me in the front personality, Monique. And that dark blue was also representing the moon. And the moon is, as you know, intuitive, go inside. And there's nothing wrong with that, because intuition is very important. And the moon is also the feminine side. So yin and yang. So it's important to have your own inner yin and yang in balance. But that dark blue made me, well, be more in the front and being scared. And then this dear friend suddenly bumped into that, she said, after a session of which it was clear that I had a blue programming and a red programming. And then she suddenly came to the idea of, and I hated it, by the way. And we were walking in the mountains, beautiful mountains, by the way, in Italy. And that she said, like, now we're going to the shop and we get rid of all the dark blue stuff you have with you. That was not much, because we had our rucksacks only and our little tents in it and so on. And then I was totally confused, and that's also her tricks are as well to be spontaneous. So suddenly overthrow me with a sudden idea, which she feels like she really feels then that could bring something. So we went to a shop there near where we stayed for her next night, and then I had to get rid of all my dark blue stuff, and then I had to buy everything red, and even shirts, even my rucksack. She even changed the rucksack. Can you imagine? Pure because she felt like this is doing the inner process something good. It will work out to something good, and that is her. She does that. She feels like this is what I have to do. And she is, by the way, from the beginning, she already said when I met her in beginning of 2000, like, you have something special. You're special. You have an incredible energy. She saw my original aura already, and she said, "Yeah, I'm just committed to that, to transform and to heal, and I heal from that as well, and that is why it is in balance with us." She takes care of me in the matter, in the material part, but then, by the way, there might be a confusion. It was not from the beginning that I was dependent material. No, that was from 2012. It started to begin that my own self saved money, and I worked hard for that, was gone. So to be clear, I was not always dependent, but that was of course a great idea. So she changed everything, and she bought me that red stuff, and then I was only wearing red, and I felt very uncomfortable with it. And this is, by the way, again an example of how these measures gave an incredible impulse, because it triggered inner personalities, other inner personalities. And sadly enough, they were very heavily sexually abused and traumatized, and I ended up in new flashbacks and so on. So I was very unhappy in that holiday, and I could smile because you know me also from the live streams. I use humor as well to also live that positive side and to feed myself, and I am really like that. So I'm now going to show you these pictures from the Italian holiday. And then that's a nice moment as well to, after that we're going for a break. But I'd rather now show you these pictures. And then you can see the change. Well, here's the first picture. This was what we did. The Passo della Presolana. I hope I pronounce it well. It's Italian. My Italian is not great. So here we started, and you see also the date. It was July 2008. And this was the pass, the mountain pass we started. And there it was also, there I wore this, then you have a bit of the environment where it was. That's just maybe nice to know. I don't know if it's nice to know. Now I will show. Oh wait. This is me. Yeah, this is me when I was heavily into the process. So I see that I was not comfortable, but it doesn't matter because then you have an image of me how I was at that time. So this is me on this Italy journey. Delvertje between the Christmas trees. Yeah. And you see already we were pretty. Oh, by the way, you see the date 2005, but that was a mistake. That was a mistake in the camera, so the digital camera. So it was 2008. And I never found out why that was a mistake. So it was 2008. Not to it's very confusing, but it was 2008. The next one. I will not show them too long. But I'm fine with it because I honor this inner. Wait. Okay. It is not totally chronologically. Oh, now I stumble again in that word. This was me again before I just started to change into red. This is me. The old me. This is was all before the red, right before buying the red colored clothings. Thank you, Tineke Jessie. It's nice. I'm proud of her, of that old me, because this is the me, you know, as Monique, and I was at that time calling myself Tara, or Tara, and that I was so incredibly heavy in process. So you see there a picture of me smiling in the field next to the dear friend, but I was suffering from within, and then I seemed to cope, then I even managed to smile. But yeah, what's inside? Well, now you get to see the. Wait. Okay. Yeah, they're not. I thought I put them all in chronological follow. Here is the pictures in red, and we were then on the track. And here you see again 2008. This green blouse is nice. Yeah, I loved wearing green. So this is me, totally changed, and you don't see that, but it was an reddish, very bright orange rucksack. So everything was changed into red. All Italy, Italy, Italy. No, wait. Here's another. Walking in Italy. Yes, this is in Italy, Tineke Jessie. Yes. Here you see it fully red. And I was so... I never liked posing for pictures, by the way, and I never understood it until I started to remember, of course, my incredible, my heavy sexual abuse. This was also in Italy, and I felt always very uncomfortable when pictures were taken. Nice place for a holiday. Well, I can really recommend it. It is. I'm so proud that I did this. And this is. These are our tents, and I was the blue one in front. And it was a very little tent, so I had all these mattresses. And maybe you can. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the position, but they were not big, these tents. And that, for example, you don't see the arrow, but I was sleeping very high, very high up in the tent. It was not a deep tent, by the way. And behind here you see that meadow, and on that meadow there was the little horse and goat, which were always sniffing on our tent. So, where is it? Here is that sweet. I was talking about that. I was also very shocked when suddenly the horse was next to my tent. This is cute, huh? Off-grid camping. Off-grid camping, yeah. We always, so when we were camping, we always took care of that. We had our little tents. And in these small, natuurcamp, no, not nature campings, because that's something else, I think. But, oh gosh, how do you call that? These, they were also selling organic stuff and so on. We always were at places where you had these campings, which with these tiny tents and people with campers, and just very simple way of living. That's don't know how they called it in abroad, but and this was I wanted to make a picture of when we reached. That was the oversight of where we were. But I seem to remember that we then were at the top, and you see that gravel here? I think it's called gravel. The gravel at the back, also down here below. And I have a picture of that I walked, was on the top of that mountain. Where is it? I was, by the way, here very proud that I managed to reach the top of the mountain. This is all Italy. Cornetto. Cornetto, ice, well, ice cream. I was not thinking of ice cream at the time, but I did show here really proud. And what was for me very amazing was these clouds, like that they showed very straight. That always was for me flabbergasting, that the clouds seem very straight. But yeah, if you know what I mean. So that was old me. And then the highlight, well, not the highlight, it's well, it's actually also a bit sad, but I want to show that in the hope that I overcome fear of showing this was me, what I was. This was at the end, right before I showed you this signpost of that we reached, that we were again going down, and this is the gravel again. And that was after what I shared earlier, how I was fearful of sliding off these gravel, of these tiny stones down when we went down from that mountain. And that was a steep, what you see on that earlier picture on the right, that is now this, I was just down from the spot what you saw just in the picture before that. So I was very scared of gliding off. And this is then how I walked towards my dear friend, and then you see me stumble, and this is what you see in the legs is a young girl who had to relive the sexual abuse. And I, as Monique, I was Tara at that time, I was trying to keep walking, because I knew if I keep walking, then I will heal, and then I will get to freedom. And that was thanks to this dear friend. But you can see how I stumble, and I had these, how you say that, blaren? What is blaren in, you know, I really mean it, I always know that word for blaster, I think it's not called. Blister, yeah, exactly, Yvonne. But you can see there that I slip, and what I felt there inside was as well proud, but as well wanted to give up. And I felt these little child personalities in my legs. And with sexual abuse, it is a fact that the lower body is the deepest, heaviest loaded with traumas and so on. And yeah, I'm very proud of myself that I show you this. And I hope also to inspire others, that I can look at it really with pride. Like, I did it. I did walk that mountain. Although it was the easiest mountain walk, a lot of people don't do that, you know. And I did it with all that abuse. And the walk, dealt with Charlie Chaplin-like walk. Yeah. Yeah, and that is why how I walked in that movie. I was also bullied about at school, because now you realize maybe that does resemble like walking like a penguin. Yeah. Oh gosh, but yeah, it's. Do I have more? Did already show you it. Well, it is maybe nice to go now to the break later than usual. But I'm okay with it that I showed you. Eric, proud of you too for your opening. Yeah, I am. And I feel now the results of, luckily that I feel now the result of what I integrated, also what Katie carried of traumas. And so the second part after the break will be more graphic details, I think. But So coffee and tea time. Yeah. Yvonne, I'm proud of you. Yeah, thanks so much, Yvonne. Okay, we're going a celebration song because I reached this goal on Trovo. How is everyone doing on Trovo? I will go to the chat there. Wait. Delvertje, I see your pain there, so I am very proud you kept climbing. Yeah, yeah. I have tears in my eyes. I have really tears in my eyes of being touched, and that I again just decided I will show you that. And you cannot, you don't see it now in all the pictures, but yeah, also that I was bloated, and that's also consequence of integration. I had so often a bloated body because of the traumas, if they are not being released and really have come to the light. And this is why I think a lot of people who carry a lot of traumas and are aware of it, but did, for example, not really digest it or could not heal from it, really end up being bloated, and many of them, for example, even don't eat a lot. And I as well don't eat a lot, but I feel last couple of weeks again bloated. So I felt that uncomfortability again lately, and luckily in a live stream you can show only top half. But yeah, that's in a live stream. You can a bit pretend. Can pretend. No, I am pretty. I'm more slim than at that time, so it's okay. I'm happy with my body. So I should not have said that. Okay, on Trovo. Welcome everyone on Trovo. We will take a break. I will take a break. Now I say again the we. I will take a break. Maybe you too, but that's on you, what you want to do. Okay, so now I am on Trovo, and I wanted to go to, first the song, wait, a celebrative song. Let me see what I have. So I will still continue with more red coding and more about the red and about Katie and integration. Delvertje, we could use Oki now. Oh yeah. Well, last Saturday came by a beautiful little kitten. And today again she suddenly jumped upon my lap. So, but it's now raining, so she's now, as she should be, she belongs to the neighbors, but she's used to wander and go inside everyone's house. But she discovered my lap. So and of course I miss Oki, and cats feel that, but she's really a really great, yeah. I think this is pretty uplifting, isn't it? So yeah, she's so sweet, a little black kitty. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, there are also other sides of having a cat. So, but she's sweet. I love that girl running with a coffee cup. I really like that picture. And I feel a bit me in that. Happy when I drink my coffee. Now I'm a bit, by the way, bit doing less with the coffee because. Okay. Nice tune, huh? Yeah, it's already done. This tune. Okay. Ah. I like this one as well.
Is better together.
Let's join.
My heart is full with the love and we show. When I'm with you, I
Do you
swear
feel the
I
love?
could live forever. Today was a good day. Feeling like how it is supposed to be. Living life, hanging on a sunny ray. With you by my side, everybody knows me. I'll be
Yeah, I can't
together.
see.
Life is simple, in spite of everything. 'Cause with our first breath, we cry out for our connection. Oh, heal my prayer. Oh, help me sing. Everything we need, we got in this reflection. Today was a good day. Feeling like how it is supposed to be. We live in life, hanging on a sunny ray. You by my side, everybody knows we are better together. Today was a good day. You by my side, never been a better way to live this life, hanging on a sunny ray. 'Cause everybody knows we are better together.
It's hard for me to sit still. I just can't. I love this music, and specifically how the rhythm section is being combined with this easygoing. I love this song. It could be a hit in my opinion, but that counts for a lot of what I find on Facebook copyright free music. By the way, I love this one as well.
Volando con el viento van las alas de la libertad, atravesando tierra, cielo y mares. Voy navegando sin cesar las aguas de
Okay, I am ready to continue. Because I really, my experiences with doing breaks, it's nice to do break, but if I do the break too long, then I start to, oh boy, I hear the kitten now. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard to listen to that in the rain. Go for it. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, this is so hard for me. Now I hear a kitten in front of the door. Oh, oh yeah. But yeah. She has her own house. I have to say that to myself. She has her own house. Oh, I have to put away the brake. So, okay. All right. Well, that was the story about Italy. Yeah, she's moaning in front of the door. Yvonne, now is must think of the little birds. Now is must think of the little birds. Yeah. Oh, I have also the coffee cup still. Okay, I will. Oh, girl coffee cup. Okay. Yeah, it's my heart breaks when I hear that. And tells you the coffee girl is still running. Yeah, she was running. She's now gone. And I should not feel so driven to bring her inside. That's I really have to stay strong because she has her own house, you know. So I should continue my story. Oh. All right. So to continue, I was talking. So I the Italian story is closed off now. The red Katie about this girl who came forward. And by the way, this part of the live stream will have some graphic details. I try to prevent it, but yeah, if it belongs to the story, then it's part of the story. Because the origin of me, what I discovered with Katie and that little baby, which I discovered, which is little me, you can say that as well, the inner child of me. So yeah, it's very hard. I hear that kitten cry all the time. Oh, why does that happen now? Does that happen? I have to let go. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I have to start. Oh, this is hard for me. And yeah, I love animals, as you know. So hearing a kitten cry, that is for me almost undoable. Delvertje, you can put your earpieces in. Ah, that's actually a pretty good idea. Ah. I have him with me. That's a good idea. But I will go back to this Katie because after it's now a week further, and that only a few days ago, that there was also a nasty memories belonging to this Katie in red, and this is why I believe she was also called Katie. And until very recent, I did not know of that I had a personality who was called Katie. And Katie is not a personality, but she has an experience with sexual abuse and tortures. And she carried also memories of with the Queen and this daughter and the surrogate mom I came out of her womb, but that it is part of what I already dug up a few years ago, also through drawings. And what has been put in the programming in MKUltra is about nursery rhymes. Well, I talked about it as well in English as in Dutch live streams, that nursery rhymes were heavily used in my programming, like Humpty Dumpty. There are a lot of examples, but also lullabies. Well, lullabies is wiegeliedje, lullaby. And this lullaby was about a cradle, and I did not look it up because is a horrific text. But it is about that the cradle is hanging on a tree branch, and that this cradle is being pushed, and that the cradle then is being pushed, and that suddenly the baby drops out on the floor. I could have looked it up, that nursery rhyme, but I forgot, and I did not want to be remembered with that horrific trauma. But I was suddenly reliving that, and that I found the basics of this trauma and of also this baby part in me, of which I now seem to understand. That is why she called herself Katie. And she started to remember how she was dropped almost in a cradle like that, hanging on a tree branch. And then the queen mom was pushing it, and me as a baby, I was lying in that cradle at the tree branch. And as many of you know, in the deep state as well as in the satanic rituals, they love the symbolism of trees, and specifically certain trees. And this was a famous ancient trees. What I seem to remember, that the same tree of which I later on also had. This is a trigger warning, that some of my fetuses born out of me were buried underneath that tree, and that has a heavy symbolistic meaning. Oh man, I hear her cry all the time in front of the door. Oh man. And at the meantime, I'm saying these horrific things. This is life. This is what happens. So that I remembered in that reliving that I was hanging in that cradle on a tree. But not only that, I will not say who was forced to do that, but it is again graphic warning. That, for example, when I was very little, that I had to that things were pushed in below and in my mouth. And that was to confuse me again with the love. And I cannot say the word because it is graphic. I hope you already can see that, and maybe visualize what I had to endure. And again, I have to defend myself. Yes, you can remember things from birth, from even when you were a toddler, when you were little. And specifically people who were heavily traumatized already so little, and from baby on, they can recall and relive it. And my opinion is that it is because the traumas were all split up. So that was even, that is a different brain programming and conditioning than with so-called average normal people's brains. And maybe this is why I still could really vividly remember this. But when this trauma came forward, then fortunately I was walking with my dear friend, so that helped. But it was very heavy. And since I have pulled up this memory, But I also now know why I recalled that nursery rhyme of which I talked of that cradle, and that I'm still digesting it. And this is why also today I felt again very insecure of going live, and that I also felt in a certain feeling like, oh, here we go again. So I met Katie, and now I am again remembering heavy traumas. And that made me today also a bit down, because I was of course very afraid. Oh, here we go again. Now I have to do years and years and years again before I'm really whole. But I do feel that Katie, to come back to Katie again, so Katie has that original me in me that was reborn, but because of that was released and being reborn in me and integrated in me, this is why Katie started to realize, oh, I was carrier of this baby, but also that I was carrying the trauma of the baby, and that is often very sad to. Yeah, that is the sad thing of digesting that and then keep on going. And meanwhile, I am so longing for having my own life. That's maybe also a misconception. I'm not sitting here like I say that. Like I want to sit here. Yeah, I voluntarily do this with living with this dear friend, and I love her dearly. But I want to have my independent life as well, and I already wished that years ago. So also my deprogramming process and my healing process took far longer than I initially always thought, and that is also why I never could have imagined that I would be dependent on living inside of a friend's home and so on. So that was a tough thing, and this is why I decided, well, despite I feel again a bit insecure about should I go live, will I be capable of talking about all that programming. And I was even again in a certain insecurity about, do I even have something to talk about? Do I have even a subject I talk about? Can I talk about a subject? will I have a main thread? And then suddenly, that was also interesting, that last Saturday I talked already a bit about this Italian journey with my dear friend here. And then I looked up the pictures and I felt like, well, I have such a big extern disk with so many pictures of the process and notebook sketches, etc. And there it was. I just found it very quickly and very easy, and that I could show it. And then I started to feel energy again. So then I got confirmed that Katie was, and the Italian journey at that time, in wearing red, that is the road to healing and feel lighter. So then I started to feel energetic again, and I felt a lot in my crown chakra as well, and uplifted in the energy. So here I am and doing the live stream. And fortunately I do not hear the little kitten again, because that was very hard for me. But this is a story, because why do I mention the little kitten? That it happened is no coincidence either, because in the energy I always feel synchronicity, what is happening. And thank you so much, Eric, Soul Mirror. Thanks so much for your kind words. Yeah. I'm relieved. The kitten is back to her own house. And by the way, these people, her mom and daddy, as they call it, are on holiday. So that is why the kitten is now more heavily targeting this house here with someone who is very into cats like me. So I'm relieved that I don't hear her any longer. I'm relieved. So the cats, because with pulling up Katie, another thing happened, and that was that that I talk, that my cat system, my inner cat personality system were large in me and very extended, and they were put in a lot of personality grids in me. Well, this cat system, the leader of the cat system was Anja. Anja. I don't know how you call that abroad. I don't think it is a name, specifically not in English or in the USA, but Anja, her name was. And this cat leader was pulled up again, the remains of it. And that was very synchronicity with I am playing a game for just to relax. I do play some game here on my PC or on my Switch. I love playing games at times. And in that game, I'm now replaying Lego Harry Potter. Yes, Harry Potter, yeah. And I'm now with years 5 to 7 in that Lego game. And it's an easy game, you know. It's very relaxed because you never die in that game. And it's so easy that it's a bit boring. But it doesn't matter. I just was playing it. And when at the same time, when that cat personality innerly came forward, then suddenly I was playing that game and there was a black kitten, a black cat, who had to be from portrait to portrait in that game, and I had to guide it through portrait to portrait in that game. And it was a black cat. Well, Saturday evening, this kitten suddenly jumped up on my lap. So what happens now? I dug up again this Anja cat leader, which was a female cat, and then of course I attract cats. And you see what I mean? This is an example of what I had and still have so many times in life throughout my deprogramming, but also before I even knew that I had all this sexual abuse and other things. I already bumped into many synchronicities, and this is why I was already before I was 17 years old very aware and intuitive in intuitive development. Past in my 20s, I did already some courses. I did I Ching. I was very. I did read books about all kinds of colonizations, UFOs. I had the whole arrangement of books, also UFOs in Russia, AI, and everything. What is also related to New Age, what they call New Age clairvoyancy, and so on. Aura. I was very determined to see auras when I read a certain book, and it was the Celestine Promise. I don't know if I translate it right, but the Celestijnse Belofte. Many of my age might know that book. And then I did also courses and education. So I have my diploma for reading education and intuitive development education. And the reading education, I skipped year 1. I did year 2 immediately. So I have quite a rucksack of experience with dealing with energetic work. But what I wanted to say was that with the cat, with this cat personality grids, that's what I wanted to say, was that black cats is many times seen as a symbol of that they are with magic, with witches and so on. And this is why I had to smile, because that sweet dear kitten chose me to come along every time. The old kitty wants all lap to sit on. Yeah, well, she, by the way, this black kitten here, side story, but maybe it's related, that I felt in the energy in her eating disorder. So she only wanted to eat and ask for food. While that's not healthy, of course, that's a very significant sign of that there's something out of balance. So I started to heal on her. And with healing, I mean, I don't use then specific physical touch. No, I can heal from a distance with my clairvoyancy, and I see all these things from a distance. Someone can be up on the moon, and then I can still focus on him or her, or at the end of the universe. Doesn't matter. I can focus, and then I can see it if I have the space to focus, because my clairvoyancy was with all the heavy, with all the heavy, with all the heavy deprogramming and so on, is often because my head is then too tired. And I also feel it now, by the way, that my head starts to feel tired, and then I have less space. But it is funny that then this kitty ends up landing here. But I healed on her. But the consequence was that last week I was sitting outside, and then she jumped upon my lap, which she never does. And she just lied there and stayed there on my lap. And she is a very nervous kitten. She's very energetic and has too much energy. So since I healed on her and she laid on my lap for at least an hour, and then she wanted to come inside and lie on my lap. So something happened. So I am myself am also to blame. I think I made a connection, a bonding, but at the same time I'm also again in not really reliving. It's not that it's very vivid and very physically. But it's physically in a way that, well, with sexual abuse and healing, it is that I feel the remains of the sexual abuse, if I can say it in a neat way. So my body is then responding in a way and which I don't like, which I don't want, but that is what happens with healing from that sexual abuse. And Anya, the leader of these my cat personality system, she was also sideways connected to Katie. And Katie, the teenage in red, by the way, she herself was never used. So she was never used in the programming. And she was what the programmers call a blank slit. So she was a blank core split, and she never ever that is part of why the programmers hide a core. So they hide the core and the main baby before the 4 splits. In my case, I have been split in 4 when I was a baby, and before that in 2. First 2 splits and then 4 core splits. So this is why I am so happy and hopeful, because I met the core. So before it had been split up with the traumas, as I many times in live streams explained, with the horrific traumas done to me already from baby on, to take care of that these split ups were happening and were staying that way. Well, the core is I retrieved, and from these 4 splits, it's hard to explain, but that a part of it stays unharmed, stays blank. So one of these 4 core splits carried the full awareness of that she came from this full baby. And Katie, I believe now, I can now put things together, that Katie carried and the trauma of this baby with the cradle and drops down, and at the same time that she also carries how I was being wholesome in the womb. I hope you can still follow me, but it is quite a complex story. But it is, for me, I am very hopeful and looking forward in also next live streams and what further on will happen, and how in what way my personality maybe changes or not. It's very, I'm very curious how it will all develop. And that is, a whole journey on its own, because as I said earlier, I want so badly live my own, I have dreams for a long time already to have my own house, my own my own interior wishes, that is a deep wish. And now, with having retrieved my core, I seem now to be capable of that. So that's the good news. So let me look at the time. And now my head is full. So maybe I will go upon into a lighter mode with you, maybe an interaction. What can I say more with the red coding and with the cat alter? Well, Anya was very interesting when she revealed herself to me, because I recalled at the same time with this all this deprogramming, that I also pulled up another memory which I already had relived, and that was being an older baby, but that I was forced to sit in a tiny inflatable swimming pool, of which children play, and that I had to sit down, and I had all kinds of tubes and a heart with I was hooked to a heart machine and so on, to check my heart. And that with Anya, that was a heavy loaded and sexually loaded leader of my personalities, who were with satanic rituals and with the black pope and with the white pope. And the color red, by the way, is also a lot being used in when I was for satanic rituals related to Rome and the Vatican. So the color red has a lot of meanings, as well as Saturn. That the Saturn connection, for the planet Saturn, I was always very scared of. I wanted to stay very far from Saturn. And for me, Saturn is connected to the color red, and I know that there is a lot of also the energetic colors, like Mars and so on, and that was what made me confused last Saturday evening, because I was in that confusion of just having Katie up and all that, integration and so on, and that creates also sometimes confusion, as you may know. But for Saturn is for me the color red, and that is how it's connected in my programming. And maybe it was to mislead me, but this is what I remember. So, and then in that trauma, I also, there was the first time when I was a small, I think I just learned to walk. I just walked. So toddler is that, I think, good expression, and that I had to wear a chain, a little chain, and with a little. It looked like what you give to toddlers as well to suck on. How is that called? They call it in Dutch a tutje, but oh, why don't I know that? Oh gosh, maybe someone knows that in the chat. It's a funny name, tutje. How do you spell the name? Katie. Well, that is Katie. Here we go again with not knowing at the moment how you call it. It detects as Albanian. That's interesting. Dutch. Pacifier. Now I know it. I didn't have to look it up. Pacifier. I recalled it myself. A pacifier. But I say that smiling. But this pacifier was a mini pacifier, and it was in a metal. And that metal that was for my basic programmers. I had a lot to wear that around my neck when I was in sexual rituals, in satanic rituals. And that was the special jewel. And I will not say what I was forced to do with that tiny pacifier. But maybe you can have an idea with it. I'm not, I just cannot say that. But that is this horrific, beyond horrific, sadistic people who are, as I say it a lot, I see leading the world. A lot of them still lead the world. and they are in certain families who lead certain organizations. And I see them, I recognize them from the past when they were younger, when they were little. And that is, I keep on repeating that, but that is what is for me so frustrating. I see them, and I think the programming and the deep state also could continue for so long, because when someone has MKUltra, first it takes a lifetime to get out of it. I think lately there are more techniques and therapies for it. So, but then still, I myself am deprogramming for so long now. Well, in the long end, even before 2000, because this beautiful, great man, Afro-American man from the USA, who started to deprogram me, that was already in mid 80s to end 80s. So, can you imagine how long I already tried to be free? So, and this is a way why they can make it also undetectable. And why in my opinion, it has not become visible too often, because the only thing what I heard and what I was taught was, if you speak out, we kill you. If you speak out, when I was older, we kidnap, we take your children away, or we threaten your family, and so on. So it is, and that's how. Yeah, that's in my opinion why it stayed silent for so long. But luckily, many people are speaking out, and many more, and I hope still many more. But also that this is the reason why there is no proof, because many MKUltras, they don't have any longer the things which they were programmed. Like I wore, like I described, I wore that chain with that tiny little pacifier in a certain metal. I think it was silver. It shined like silver, and I had a lot of jewelry specifically for the satanic rituals. And if I had even some jewelry or proof in the house or at home, then it was being thrown away or being letting disappeared by other personalities, because in a MKUltra and the monarch programming are lots of personalities who are taught to sabotage the front and the layers who try to reach out for the truth inside. And I bumped into so many of them. I also talk about the self-harm layers I went through. And these self-harm layers had a lot of sabotage personalities, as well as eating disorders, by the way. When I was having these diuretics to try to stay slim, because I was bloated because of a lot of fluid, I withheld a lot of fluid. And I'm very grateful that I did not end up with illnesses because of that, with diuretics. But that it's, I wish upon no one to go through that. But to come back to again, this is why it makes a lengthy healing process. Because even when there are certain therapies, where is the healing of the physical layer? There is an emotional layer. There is an aura layer, aura field, energetic layer. On being level, then the rebirth, and I saw come by as well on DNA level. So you have at least 5-6 levels on which you have to heal everything to become a whole person. So I must say I'm also a bit jealous of people who did get whole in a much quicker way than I did. So, but yeah, apparently it's not my way, it's not my road of healing in that way, and I wish it gotten quicker. And I work from 2000, for sure, I work from 2000, day in, day out, day in and night, on my inner process. So, and it's now 2023, so 23 years I work day and night, every day, to deprogram. 23 years, that is half of my life. I realize. Half of my physical life. Oh gosh. But I reached my core, and that's the joyful thing. I reached my core, so yeah. That's good news, huh? Yeah, but I start to feel the tiredness of my story, so maybe I will head with some talking for you. Or are there questions? Then go ahead, because I love questions, as you know. So, yeah, maybe I did forget something to mention, but and otherwise it will be a shorter live stream than other times, and I say that a lot as well. But then in the end, it is still then that I end the live stream at 10:30. So, and Yvonne is er weer. Yvonne is back. And I was trying out tonight again, like how would it feel to talk more graphic details? And I feel that I gotten more more easier in that, but still the real raw details, maybe it's not me, that it's not really what fits me or something, but maybe another live stream that will happen as well. I'm not sure. And I did check already on TVOP and on my own Facebook pages, and I saw no comments. Only on Twitch and YouTube specifically. And Trovo. And how is Trovo doing? Wow, and I see on Trovo still people join the channel. Wow, my channel, wow. Thank you so much. And welcome everyone. Anja, I'm still thinking about Katie. What if the I would be a G? Yeah. Well, that is a good one. That is a good one. Lion Gate Day today, 8-8. Yeah, the 8-8. Yeah, I love these numbers together, these two together, 8-8. By the way, with numbers and specific dates, I have experience in that. It also often triggers me or reminds me of, oh yeah, I hit upon that personality grid. I still have that. Every Monday, I was for years already getting used on that. Every Monday, I would meet a Monique day, because Monique is part of moon. And the Monday is based on the first day of the week. So I had a system of which then every Monday, then the week would start all over. So like a repetitive thing in the systems, which would then also keep me away from the deeper embedded layers. And that is only one example of it. And I did see come by Kathy, and I had an Olivia and I had a Kathy, but it was with Cathy. And that's different than a Katie with Katie. And this Katie for sure feels different than all the other ones. And I talked about also these different personalities, how tough it was for me to deal with as ego, to come by a change of habit. Like I talked about, it's not only with eating as an example of that was tiring for me, but also other habits. For example, I talked about in Italy with the color red, and that the dark blue was part of the Monique part, so the moon part, and the red was the vibrant part, but also my male part, which I got back to because Katie is for sure also connected to my male energy. But there were more things like having another craving, or not a craving, but that my my type of clothing wishes also changed. So not only the colors, but also the type of clothing. And there were times, and that was from 2000 to 2006, 2007, and that I wore some pullovers, an extreme wide-sized, because I wanted to hide my body and that I was feeling bloated and so on. And it was all the programming as well. So I had a time that I wanted to wear only huge pullovers of XXL and then with the sleeves over my hands. Well, and I wanted to bury myself in my clothes. As well as with I love gaming. The gaming and the Nintendo has had a lot of contribution to my healing and my deprogramming process as well. Animal Crossing New Horizons was the last one, but I started with Animal Crossing with the first game. Yeah, it was amazing what that has brought me, and I cannot say too much about it because that's related to this American man, this Afro-American man. But yeah, but things changed so often, and that also because I lived together here, also with my dear friend, of course, and with another person, and that they have to deal with that too. That my habits changed. Yeah, and the insecurity is one of the most for me. That was the hardest for me. The insecurity. For example, that I loved riding the mountain bike. I did had a very red mountain bike, and I crossed through the city where I lived somewhere else in the Netherlands. I moved a lot, and I had my red mountain bike always with me. And then when I started to live with my dear friend here, and then one time I was in little personalities, dealing with that, and then I did not even dare to walk with my mountain bike and then go down with the staircase, because in the Netherlands it's a bicycle country, and there you have at the metro stations or in bridges you have then the staircase, but then next to it you have a track to ride down with your bike. Well, I had that was almost going on for at least a couple of months. That not so long ago that I had still a bike and I was driving with a mountain bike, and then I I had to go from the bridge down to lower road, and I was with my dear friend, and I did not go downstairs with the bike. I did it so often. For example, I was in Vienna also quite a lot of times, and there I drove with the same mountain bike, a red mountain bike. I drove off that. I still did that through the parks there, and it was not allowed, but I was just driving through the city of Vienna, and then went through a park, and then I had to do a shortcut with stairs down, and then I just drove over the stairs down with the mountain bike. Well, and then ending up in personalities who were so insecure, and that was the hardest thing ever in this deprogramming. Even in the years later on, that is one of the most things I was confronted with. And another example is that the kitten was crying in front of the door when it was raining, and that keeps on hitting me inside, because I was of course also left alone, and I was bonded with animals, and animals were taken away from me. So I want to save everyone. I want to save all animals. Another example is that I was cleaning the windows today, and it was now it's raining, so thank you, rain. My beautiful cleaned windows here. And that I then suddenly I always check if there are spiders in the way, because then I carry them back to a certain safe spot. And then suddenly I was just cleaning, and then suddenly I hit a spider. and with some water and with the cloth. And then I was totally freaking out, like, did I hurt the spider? Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I'm vulnerable to hear also, for example, cats cry. And this is related to that I heard so many babies cry in despair, but also with pain when they were abused. Because I myself was not only abused. By the way, speaking of crying, I myself stopped crying. I stopped crying when I was punished or when I was traumatized, because that's what's being taught. So I learned. Maybe that's why I'm so driven and so enthusiastic about that. Saying no is very important too. Not only all the time say yes, but also say no. That's a powerful word. Both are amazing to use. Say no if you don't like things. Say yes if you like it. That's an example. So that is maybe the origin of say no to evil, because my voice stopped even expressing crying when I saw these things. I saw, for example, my own child or one of my own children die in front of my eyes. And in the reliving, I also had nightmares of it, and that I wanted to scream and no voice came out. Only of recent years, sometimes when I dream and I dream of again a horrific what I had to experience, because I do have at times nightmares of the past, because that's logic with the past I had. And last couple of years, I can wake up myself from a dream. I'm curious if you recognize that. But that I then scream out loud. So my voice, I let hear my voice in my dreams. And you can learn to steer dreams, by the way. That you can wake up yourself from bad dreams. And I learned that only last couple of years, actually. So, but it is very bizarre to want to scream when I had these flashbacks, specifically when I saw others being hurt. That is, I cannot explain. It is only people who were, I guess, themselves had to endure, but also witness a lot of hurt, can understand. Yeah, thank you so much, Jos, for your beautiful angel wings. And Tineke Jessie, yeah, say no to evil. Say no to evil. And someone else mentioned, and say yes to love. That is also a beautiful expression. And of course I say yes to love. That's big capitals, yes to love. But no to evil. And as I said, a lot of times if we all say accidentally together, I say no to evil. And I visualize that movement of everyone wearing t-shirts where I say no to evil. Because the advantage is there's no names being mentioned. So in that way, I think it's safe. I think. And it's only my dream. It's only a vision. I'm not saying I'm right. But what would happen if the world would accidentally do it all at once? And we don't need the whole world. It's a part of the world. Another thing, what is, by the way, also part of the synchronicity, and that was playing the games, of which Black Cat had a main character, was that I'm now watching a television series which is about the 80s, and it's called The Goldbergs. I can't mention the title. And I'm totally into it, but it is amazing, the synchronicities of pop artists, the whole atmosphere of the 80s. And this is again a thing which crosses my path and helps me deprogram. I talked especially in the early live streams, that many television series were sent to me through, now I will not say how, but that it helped me deprogram. And now, wow, I'm amazed by how it helps me recall and the whole atmosphere. And it is nice to I think a lot of people have that, to go back in time and to live again in these 80s and to meet that. Yeah, Jos. Yeah, don't say sorry. It is wonderful to have you here again and see you Saturday maybe. For the Dutch live stream, because Saturday I have Dutch live stream as always, and for now, yeah, I keep on doing it. I know it's the holidays, and I mentioned it to my dear friend also this afternoon, like, shouldn't I take a break or something? Maybe it's boring. I'm now doing live streams twice a week at least for almost 2 years, maybe. It is now almost 2 years, and I still like going live. And then I realize, well, I want to go live, so let's see if someone will join. And then I see you all join here. It's so nice to see you all here. Tineke Jesse, agree. No to evil, yes to love. Yeah, it's a nice. It could be a nice lyrics as well for a song. And it balances then, huh? Yeah, thank you so much, Jos. You also have a wonderful week. I'm doing also an experiment as healer. I try to call the sun, that we have sunny times as well, so that I'm bored of the rain, but yeah, I love the sun. So sunny days, and that people here in the Netherlands can have also a sunny holiday. Yeah, so I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, so the vulnerabilities in deprogramming here, what I still am being confronted with, and yeah, the eating disorder remains. Is now again with Katie and with my core and my being in me as light reborn. Now my whole yeah, habits with eating is also changing, but it feels great. By the way, it's a great change. I have less. Yeah, I'm more and more letting go of I need this or I want this, which a lot of small personalities in me, for example, they wanted a specific candy or specific snack. Like what it was earlier in the deprogramming. That's also a part of these deprogramming habits, which are very tiring. Were very tiring to me. That some tiny personalities, they preferred kind of snacks like chips. Another one wanted pizza, and then I was making a lot of more pizzas in the house here, because I love making them myself, by the way, and they taste really wonderful. Yeah, so it is very confronting for myself, and I was also tired of that lately as well, coming across all these changes in me. And but now, let's see how this all will develop, and as well my name change again announcement. Be prepared for a name change. So, and how that will go, when, I'm not sure. But but there's one thing what I do know, that I will feel it. I want to feel it fully when that is there, that moment. And I'm sure I will feel it. So I'm not burdened by it at all. Yeah, so now I feel tired in my head, so maybe we can talk a bit still if there are people who like to mention something or still have questions. Then go ahead. But and the kitten has not meowing any longer in front of the door, so it's a big relief to me. Yvonne, Mother Earth gives upgrades too. Yeah, that's nicely put, Yvonne. Yeah. Yvonne says, do not have fear. Yeah, well, that's the main thing, of course. Do not have fear. Leave the fears behind. But be first confront the shadows. So first embrace the inner shadows. And that's how I do it. That's why I can cope with it. I keep on doing it. Yeah. For as long as it's needed to do. And I hope, of course, that I can feel and live my wholeness. That would be the great. Eric, the biggest fear is fear itself. Yeah, that's a good one, Eric. That's a very good one. Yeah, it is. And I have overcome so many fears also by going live streaming. And I still have vividly how these first interviews were. And it's amazing, this journey. And I'm still so grateful that I started all these live streams. I hope one day maybe I will do a physical lecture. That's one of my wishes. And of course, Dana will return in a few weeks. Barry, did I hear it right? You invited peeps in live. No, Barry, no, because no. No, maybe I describe it in the wrong way in English, but no. And everyone, yeah. I'm tired, so we can go to closure. And how are you all doing, by the way? Oh, now I lost the prism. Soul mirror, don't push it, Barry. By the way, Thursday, for as well, Thursday, am I going live Thursdays? It is possible that I will skip first. I plan on going live Thursday, but it depends on some things which I first need to know, and I will know that only tomorrow. So, but I wanted to go live Thursday, and that is in Dutch, and I just try out a bit like a brunch lunch with Mo. I was thinking about or something like that, but just lightheartedness, and then there I will share a link that you can then come into the broadcast. It's a bit like a holiday for the ones who like it, and that will be Thursday or the next week, Thursday. Yeah, you're welcome, Tinique Jessie. Thank you for being here as well. And as always, great. And for everyone that counts, and also for the people who send me messages and comment and like on YouTube. Yeah, it really is. I enjoy it so much, and also the growth, the organic growth of my channels. I'm really loving it. So, and until as long as I still like going live, which I do. I do, by the way, realize I'm not sure if I have the subject MKUltra. I don't know, but I will feel guided into if there is needed a certain new formula for going live, then I will see. Then it will be revealed, I guess. But yeah, until now I still have. Subjects. Okay, lunch is 11 a.m. Yeah, around, yes, exact, Barry. I was thinking quarter to 11 to 11, exactly. Anya, oh, thanks. I assume you mean yourself tired, but still full of trust that true love will overcome. It's beautifully said, and true love will always overcome, and unconditional love, and so on. Thank you so much, Eric, Soul Mirror. And everyone follow Barry Henderson, the Soul Mirror. It is in Dutch, but it's, yeah. Eric also continues in the holiday. He's also hooked to the going live to inspire people and really motivating. And if I can mention it, but yeah, can I mention you, Miranda, as well? That well, follow all these beautiful people, Miss Vanity as well, Soul Mirror and Barry Henderson. And the bio link don't work, so that is shout out is not working because you don't see the link. Otherwise, I would put it down for you all free. But Tineke Jessie, say no to evil and say yes to love. Exactly. And let's see if there is something. Oh, okay. No, I thought it was almost 10:30, but it is it's not yet turned 10:30. I will also write down the bio links. And you know a nice channel to rate, Barry. I will check as well who is live. And yeah. Oh, wait. I write it down now. Literally, that's of course more work, but it doesn't matter. It's the end of the live stream. And I don't know. Does Miranda does she have a bio.link? No, I don't think so. On Twitch. What is that? Twitch.tv? I forgot. Yeah, everyone. I will meanwhile look for. Oh, thanks so much, Barry. That is with two underscores. Oh, I feel ashamed. I was doubting again. The 2 underscores. Now I know. Now I will not forget any longer. Yeah, and I hope for everyone who prefers the English live stream and everyone else who like to be there next Tuesday. Of course, I have for as long as I still have subjects about MKUltra, I will keep on doing the live streams. But even if I don't have MKUltra subject, I will find another formula, and yeah, then I will see if that fits for people to watch or listen to. I'm amazed that I still am doing it. Then, but I fall into repetition. No one that I know and is interested in the topic. All right. Then I'll look at it. No, not many are live, but maybe for abroad it also is summer, of course. Yvonne, it's always nice to be together. Yeah. Together. Oh, to rate there. But how does that work, Barry? Because last time it went wrong on Trovo. So then I will focus on Trovo. And then I leave Twitch. It's okay for a time to skip a rate. It's fine. I'm tired too, but I love to see how that works in Trovo. Ah, yeah, Steve Wowa bro. And how do I do that? With the... And meanwhile, for everyone on Twitch and on YouTube and on all my Facebook pages and on TVOP, welcome for joining. And maybe if you rewatch, well, if you end up hearing me saying this now, then you manage to watch the whole live stream, or you skipped maybe the first part. I don't know, but thanks for watching. I'm very grateful for if you follow me on my channels, of course, and like and comment. And wish you well, wish you a wonderful week. And I hope to go live Thursday in Dutch. That will be in Dutch, and Saturday in Dutch, and then next Tuesday again in English. So, okay. So, dear people, I will go raid on Trovo and see you all next time. So, thank you again. Thanks so much, Barry, on... Oh, wait. Okay. Complex name. Thanks for also there, Eric. Great to see you also there. Oh, Steve, whoa, bro. Why does he have such an complex name? Why doesn't it accept? It did not accept the rate. I can. Yeah, but I did. Let... Is he still live? Because I get no matches. No matches. I really type it in and it doesn't accept it. So well, dear people, I will close off on Twitch. Or no, I should stay live there, of course. So I'm not sure what happens, Barry. It doesn't pick it up. I get a question mark. Is 0 or not set? Why is that happening? Again. Again when I am live. I'm stumbling over the rate. But you see now, Barry, what I did, huh? It is an error. So everyone who still watches this, it is an error. It's not my fault. It's an error in Trovo. But you're, Barry, can you rate? Because you're editor or something, or manager on the management roles. Can you rate on Trovo? Okay. Pimka Russian games. Okay. Yeah, that's fine, Barry. I should. I know now it's not my fault. Well, dear people, yeah, I don't know. I follow two little people. I follow not that much on Trovo. Yeah, Tineke, just have a nice evening. So I will close off and I let go, Barry. I will look it up how and why it went wrong. It's an error in Trovo, that's for sure. Barry, Eric, thank you for being in the chat and everything, of course. And so nice to have seen you all. And see you next time, dear people. Yeah, much love and have a great evening, early morning, afternoon, wherever it is qua time for you. So see you all next time, dear people. And ka-ching! I say it again, and I enjoyed it a lot that I could manage to have my main thread and my talk tonight. So thank you all for being here and see you all next time. Bye bye everyone. Bye. Ciao.